Okay. Well, I want to say Boker Tov to everybody who has joined us this morning on this beautiful day in Modi'in, Israel. And I want to welcome everyone to our class on Sefer Shmuel, the book of Samuel. We're doing chapter 29. And I want to thank Judith Marilis for sponsoring today's class in memory of her mother, Gittel Tova. Her yahrzeit is today. And prior to recording the class, Judith shared with us some very interesting stories about her mother's life, and we thank her for her sharing those. And we salute and applaud her mother's courage and optimism, and we thank her very much for sponsoring the class. And today, I was really glad when people started joining the class because we have a very special chapter today in Shmuel Aleph, Book of Samuel, and it. I wanted very much to talk to you about this particular chapter with a conversation. I wanted all of you who are online with me to participate because in this chapter we're seeing the beginning of the end of King Shaul. What do I mean by that? Well, as we read the chapter, we'll see what is going on. But I wanted to explain to you that I believe that chapter 29 is really a, a culmination of almost a storyline of the strength of David, the fortitude of his commitment to Eretz Yisrael, and also that at up until this point in the 29 chapters that we have learned so far in the book of Samuel, book one, that we have seen the development of a character that is so profound and so strong. That's David, who will be David HaMelech. And at this point, I want you to keep in mind that all the things that he has done as not king, because he's not king yet, and what is going on. Now, we left the last chapter we read in 28 about the necromancer, the sorcerer of Endor, the witch of Endor in 28. And that's when Shaul goes to a sorcerer and asks if he will be successful in the battle that is coming with the Philistines. And do you remember what she says to him? Does anyone remember? Jump right in. Do you remember? She tells him that he and his sons will all be killed and the battle will not be successful. Now, the interesting thing is that Shaul, that Shaul as king has outlawed necromancer and or witchcraft, and
Oh,
and that he asks his servants to find him a sorcerer. Now, that's a very strange request because he is trying so hard to keep the Torah laws. And I wanted to tell you that in chapter 28, the prohibition for witchcraft or sorcery comes from the Torah, actually. It wasn't just something he decided to do on his own. He decided to enforce this particular law, this particular mitzvah that Hashem had given us in the Torah in the book of Exodus, chapter 22. It's in Parshat Mishpatim, verse 17, and it says, "You shall not allow a sorcerer to live."
Oh.
So he has not just chosen to have this law enforced, he has really enforced a Torah prohibition, which is very, very interesting because at this point in his life, he's very upset. He knows Hashem has left him. He knows that his Ruach HaKodesh is very blurred. He has been on his own chasing David all over because he knows David is going to be the next king, and he knows that his sons will never be the kings that he hoped they would be. So he is very, very depressed. He is very, very sad, and he's very uh, uh, lacking in enthusiasm for being king of Israel. So at the end of chapter 20, 28, we see that we see, well, actually, it's the beginning of chapter 28. We know that David Hamelech has gone to the Philistines, and he has played a part of the success of his army and his troops who are living in Ziklag. Ziklag is a place that the king of Philistia, Achish, has given to David because David sought asylum in Philistia because he could no longer handle being chased by Shaul all over Eretz Yisrael. It was getting to be impossible. And he knew that every place he went, his life was in danger because people started to tell the king or the king's servants of where he was, and that the Shaul should come and find David in their particular cities or towns. So David has just had it up to here, and he has gone to Philistia. Now he is pretending to be an ally of King Achish, who is the head of all the princes of the Philistine people. There are five of them because there are five different major cities within the Philistia, and these five princes all have formed a government in which Achish is the head. Now, Achish trusts David because over in chapter 27, we learn that David was going to battle with many of the enemies of Eretz Yisrael, and he was saying that he was actually fighting in the name of Achish, the Philistine king. But really, what he was doing was fighting and protecting Eretz Yisrael. Achish felt he was being very honest with him, and he trusted David. So at the end of chapter 27, I want to show you, we're going to we're going to read together. Let's see, I'm going to try and move this up. We're going
Oh,
to, okay. Share. Huh. Why is this not allowing me to show you this? Okay. Oh my goodness. Um, hmm. Well, this is very upsetting. Let's see. I can't get the okay. I'm so sorry. I'm going to
That's chapter 27, the last one.
do you have, can you see it on the screen?
It's 27 now, not 28.
Okay, so you could see that. Okay.
No, we can only see the word Shmuel, Samuel
Okay,
27.
hold on. Let's try and get this correct. Can you see it now?
It's back up. Yeah, the first part.
Okay, can you see chapter 27?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So so um so I want to go back to chapter 27 to give you a little background of what has happened. So right now, the Philistines in chapter 27 have started to assemble for war against Bnei Yisrael. And so Achish calls on David and he says to him,
Um,
how about, can you read, let's see, Linda, can you see this right here?
Yes,
Can you read for us the first two lines?
sure. And David said to himself, now I shall perish one day in in the hand of Shaul. There is nothing better for me than that I shall escape to the land of the Philistines, and Shaul will despair of me to seek me any more in all the border of Israel, and I shall escape from his hand.
Okay, go
2.
ahead.
And David arose, and he and the 600 men who were with him crossed over to Achish, the son of Maoch, the king of Gath.
Okay. So this at the beginning of chapter 27, we find that David can no longer stand the chasing of Shaul. He knows he wants to kill him and he can't take it any longer. So he's going to go to the enemy for a holiday, a respite. And he's there for basically about a year and a half. Now, if we go down to the end of the chapter, um,
I could read it.
okay, just okay.
And Achish,
No,
wait,
start here.
11. And David would leave alive neither man nor woman to bring to Gath, saying, lest they tell about us, saying, so has David done, and so is his manner all the days which he has dwelt in the field of the Philistines. And
Okay.
Achish believed David, saying, he has greatly abhorred his people Israel, and he will be to me a bondsman forever.
Okay, so Achish,
Oh,
the
Stacy.
king, sees that David has going to war, but David is going to war with all of the countries around Israel, and he's killing everybody. He leaves nobody left behind so that they don't tell the Philistines what that David is killing them and taking spoils and giving it to Bnei Yisrael. So in the next chapter in 28, which really should be part of 27, Achish meets with David and this is exactly and can we get some Faye, can you read for us, please? Faye, are you there? Okay. Faye, you're muted. All right. Okay. So let's can someone else read for me, please?
I
Faye,
can I can read
okay, go ahead. Read the first two,
this the first or the second.
both.
Okay.
Oh,
And it was in those days that the Philistines gathered their camps together for warfare to make a war upon Israel. And Achish said to David, "You shall know that you shall go out with me in the camp, you and your men." And David said to Achish, "Therefore you shall know what your servant will do." And Achish said to David, "Therefore I shall make you my bodyguard all the time."
Okay,
Ah.
so these two particular pasukim should really be in the prior chapter, but they're not. It's where Achish says to him, "We're going out to war. I trust you, David. I think that you're a great guy. You've done great things for the Philistines, and I couldn't ask for a more loyal subject in you. And I see that you have really given up your loyalty to Bnei Yisrael and Shaul, and that I will take you out with me when I go to war, and you will be a bondsman for me. You will be my servant in war, and I will trust you to protect me." That is a very, very big deal for David. And that's exactly what he wanted the Philistines to do, is to trust him so much that when they went out to war, David hoped that he would be part of the battle and that he could fight for Bnei Israel from within the Philistine camp. Do you understand what his plan was? Does everyone
No.
understand? He's hoping, and he has fulfilled the trust of uh, of King Achish, and he is really hoping that when they go out to war with Shaul, that David will show Shaul, "I'm really on your side because I'm going to fight the Philistines from within their army's camp." So very, very interesting perspective in battle. Now, if we go and talk about the rest of this particular chapter, it doesn't talk about the war. It talks about Shaul going to the witch, the necromancer, the sorcerer, and asking if he's going to have the support of God in this battle, and will he be successful. Now, the witch is very scared because she knows who this person is who has come to seek him, and she's worried that she'll be killed if she talks to him. But she's eventually convinced to conjure up a connection with Shmuel and Shaul, and they're both talking. She is talking and telling King Saul what Shmuel sees for the future. And it's not a good future for Shaul. He's going to be killed along with his sons, and it goes all the way to the end. It talks to that he falls off the chair after hearing all of this terrible news, and she feeds him and gives him sustenance. And all of this is under the veil of nighttime. And I'm saying that for a reason. It's very important that we understand that Shaul did not want to be seen going to a sorcerer, because he is the one who prohibited and made the law that there shouldn't be any sorcerers available in the country. Now we're going back to chapter 29. So we're going to start here. It's a very short chapter, but it's a very full chapter. And I'd like to have someone read. Do I have a volunteer? Hello? Anybody?
I'll volunteer if you want.
Okay, go ahead.
But the officers of the Philistines were enraged against him.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
sorry.
No, right here, right here.
Oh, okay. And the Philistines gathered all their camps to Aphek
and the Israelites were encamped by the fountain which is in Jezreel. And the lords of the Philistines were passing on by hundreds and by thousands, and David and his men were passing in the rear with Achish.
Hallelujah.
And the officers of the Philistines said, "What are these Hebrews doing here?" And Achish said to the officers of the Philistines, "Is this not David, the servant of Saul, the king of Israel, who has been with me these days or these years? And I have found no fault in him from the day he fell in with me until this day."
Hmm.
But the officers of the Philistines were enraged against him. And the officers of the Philistines said to him, "Return the man, and let him return to his place where you have appointed him, and let him not go down with us into the battle, lest he become an adversary to us in the battle. And with what this one will reconcile himself to his master? Is it not with the heads of those men? Is this not David, of whom they sang with musical instruments, saying, 'Saul has slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s'?" And Achish called to David and said to him, "As the Lord lives, I swear that you are upright, and your going out and coming in with me in the camp is good in my eyes. For I have not found in you any evil from the day of your coming to me until this day, but you are not good in the eyes of the Lord's. And now return." Oh, do you want me to stop?
Nope, keep going.
Okay. And now return and go peacefully, and do not do evil in the eyes of the lords of the Philistines. And David said to Achish, "But what have I done? And what have you found in your bondsmen until this day, that I shall not come and wage war against the enemies of my lord the king?" And Achish answered and said to David, "I know that you are good in my eyes, like an angel of God. But the officers of the Philistines have said, 'Let him not go up with us into the battle.' And now arise early in the morning with your master's bondsmen who came with you, and you shall arise early in the morning when it is light for you, and go." And David arose early, he and his men, to go in the morning to return to the land of the Philistines. And the Philistines went up to Jezreel.
Okay,
So he backed down.
so this is just a very interesting chapter because there's so many references to many things. So let's start at the beginning. I wanted you to get a full picture of this short chapter all at once without me talking about each pasuk individually. And now we're going to go and talk about it. So here we are. I'm going to show you a map, okay, the kingdom of Shaul. And here is where, this is Philistia. Here is Ziklag, where King Achish had given this city in Philistia to David. Okay, you see, here's Jerusalem here. And now they've taken their troops, the Philistines have gone up to Aphek, which is right here. Okay, you can see where it is. Aphek is in a little north of east of Tel Aviv, where Tel Aviv would be. Here's Jaffa. Aphek is where Petah Tikva would be today. Now, it said that they're going up to the Jezreel Valley, which is up here. So right now, this conversation with the lords of the Philistines is taking place here, which seems to be about halfway between Ziklag, where David is coming from with his men, and it says that he has been coming up with the king Achish at the rear of all the troops of the Philistians, and they're at Aphek. And now they're having a conversation. The lords of the Philistians, probably all five of them, from Gaza, from Gat, from let's see, where else? There's five of them. Ekron. They're all the heads are saying to Achish, I don't think that David, who has maybe he's been very loyal to you, but I don't think he should be involved in the battle that we're going to fight against Shaul. And Achish says, well, he's been fine to me. He's been loyal to me. Why would I not consider him a loyal servant? And they say, because you don't have to test him in real battle time to see whether he's going to fight on our side or on Shaul's side. They're not so sure that David has really made a switch to become part of the Philistine nation. And rightly so, rightly so. So now let's go. Do you see where all this is happening here? Because I want you to understand this is all part of right here, all along this side. This is all part of Philistia. And now they're going from Philistia to a fake, and they're gonna eventually have their battle at Mount Gilboa in the Jezreel Valley, in Jezreel up here. Okay?
Rhonda, can I
Yeah.
ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, so while David was loyal to Achish,
Yes.
and he's with him a year, okay,
Yeah.
was he fighting with him against the Canaanites and other groups like that? In other
No,
words,
right. No,
so
he
how
was
did he get the loyalty?
because he would go out on his own with his own men, and he would fight against the all these here. He would fight against the
Okay, all right.
Amalekites, the
Okay,
Edomites,
right. That's what I
all
wanted to
these
know.
people,
Okay,
and he did not take the Philistines with him.
okay, okay. So
So
he
he was going on his
was
own
going to
in
fight. Okay.
under the guise of fighting for Philistia, but really giving the spoils of all the battles to the tribe of Judah and to Bnei Israel. That's why it says
Okay.
he left no survivors.
Okay. Okay. That clears it up then. Thank you.
Okay. So, but Achish would get reports saying, that David did a great job. He cleared our southern border. Here
Mhm.
he cleared our border from the Amalekites and the Hezekites and the Edomites, and he's doing a great job. I mean, he would give some stuff to Achish
Right.
to
Right.
keep him persuaded that he's doing it for him, but a lot of it went to the Bnei Israel. So here we have an idea of exactly what's happening, and we're stuck here with this conversation with Achish. So let's now start again with the reading of chapter 29, because now I want to explain it to you. Um, and it's they're gathering, it says, to a fake, which I just showed you on the map. Okay, and they're headed up to Jezreel. Jezreel, which I showed you, is Mount Gilboa, is where the big battle against Bnei Israel and King Saul is going to be. And because we know from the witch of Endor in the previous chapter, it's not going to be a successful battle for Shaul and his sons. So then it says, and the lords of the Philistines um came to Achish, and they're telling him that they don't think that it's a good idea to have David accompany them. And so Here's what the officers say. Lori, you want to just read it again?
Sure. Starting with 3.
Yeah.
And the officers of the Philistines said, "What are these Hebrews doing here?" And Achish said to the officers of the Philistines, "Is this not David, the servant of Saul, the king of Israel, who has been with me these days or these years, and I have found no fault in him from the day he fell in with me until this day?"
Right. So what Achish is saying is, I trust him. I trust
Right.
this man. And good for David. Good for David. He was that uh careful to really make a friend out of the king of the Philistines, and which was exactly his plan. That's what he wanted to do. He was never ever going to abandon Bnei Yisrael. After all, he's going to be king. Why would he ever think that he would abandon his people when he had been anointed by Shmuel? Um,
Oh, yeah.
so this is all a ruse. He is going and seeking asylum. He needs temporary respite from the chasing of Shaul, but now is the test of whether he has done a good job in the land of the Philistines, and whether he earned the trust of the king of the Philistines, which he did earn the trust of Achish, but
Right.
not the other lords or princes of the land of in the Philistines. So here we're told that Achish is standing up for him, but it's not going to go well. Let's see. Go ahead and read. But what the officers say, they say to Achish, "Do you really think that this
Mhm.
man, after all these years of being part of Shaul's army, is going to turn and support you?" And Achish thinks, of course he is. Of course, I don't doubt him at all. And then they remind him of what was used to be said, that Shaul killed thousands, but David killed tens of thousands. So they say, why would you think that you would have this man's trust? He is not going to give up his loyalty to his own people. Now, they're saying, if you think that you trust him so much, then send him home to the place that you gave to him and let him sit this battle out. And we'll decide what to do with him later. Which, in the eyes of anybody who goes to war would say, well, that sounds like a fair deal. And certainly it said that the Philistines were amassing thousands, tens of thousands of people. So they did not need David and his 600 men. It was pointless, basically. So then we find that that Achish calls to David and says, "Look, and you want to read this because I want you to understand, as the Lord." Go ahead, Lori. As the Lord, and he uses the name of God.
Mm.
He wants him
Yeah.
to know that he believes him. He believes that that this was certainly fortuitous for him, Achish, and he's talking to David on his terms as a Jew. Go ahead, Lori. Read this number 6.
Okay. And Achish called to David and said to him, "As the Lord lives, I swear that you are upright, and your going out and coming in with me in the camp is good in my eyes, for I have not found in you any evil from the day of your coming to me until this day. but you are not good in the eyes of the lords.
Okay. The Lord's smaller L, lowercase L, meaning
Right.
the lords of the Philistines.
That's right.
The uppercase L here means God. As
Right.
I swear to your God, I trust you. And he makes a point of that. But he says, but my lords, the princes of Philistia, are not happy that you're with me. And then he says, so I want you to go home. I want you to go home peacefully, and I want you to like wait this out, because that's the best thing for both of us. And he's sending him home. Uh, but before he does, David says, oh, he's continuing his ruse, and
What?
he's saying, but King Achish, I thought you found favor in me. I thought you trusted me. I thought I was here. In fact, it was the same King Achish, the same Philistine king who, if you recall, David ran away to the Philistines one time before this, and he acted crazy. Remember that he
Yes.
acted. So in chapter 21, the people of the Plishtim said to Achish, just kill this man because he's crazy. He's acting crazy. And Achish says, no, I have enough nut jobs in Philistia. Just let him go and let him leave me alone. So actually, this Achish had once before saved David's life. And
That's right.
so there's a bond between them that goes beyond just this 1 year of being together. So then he says to him, Achish says, arise and early in the morning. Go early in the morning, and you can return with your men and to the city that he means Ziklag, and we'll basically he's saying, and we'll talk when I get back. Okay. Now, I want to tell you why it's so important that I mention that Shaul goes to the witch at night under the veil of darkness, and that here Achish is saying to David, go in the morning at the break of dawn so that you will be able to see your way home in safety. That you shouldn't go like you're hiding, because I want you to know I trust you and I want you to be safe on the way back. So it's interesting that Shaul chooses to do his dealings and his work under the veil of night, under the veil of darkness, as almost as a shady kind of deal, in a secret, and in not in public. But Achish wants David to return in the light of day. So we're seeing Shaul is starting to fall into the night, which means almost the end of his lifetime, and David is rising in the morning with the morning star. So we get a sense of a foreboding from Shaul, and we get a positive feeling from David. Did I make that do you understand what I said, what I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
trying to explain there? Okay. So now we find that David says, okay, that he's gonna go, and they arose in the morning, and they return to the land of the Philistines, and the Philistines go up to Yezreel. And this is where we end this particular chapter. Now, we have no idea what awaits David when he goes back home.
Unless we turn the page.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, however, we're not going to turn the page today because we're going to just do this one chapter because the next page is quite long. So next week we'll deal with what David finds as he returns, and this is what it will challenge him, what he finds waiting for him at home back in Ziklag in the land of the Plishtim, when he gets home to his wife and family. So, anybody have any questions or any comments? I think that we are seeing how David takes each part of his life with Shaul, with his men, with his wives, with his trust in God. All of this seems to be a plan that David is growing in his learning how to be a king, and he's learning how to be the representative of Bnei Yisrael in the sight of God. And he's doing it in a very cautious, careful, and insightful way. And we learn about his very intelligent and very strong aptitude for military battle, thinking how he can do certain things and how things will work out for him. Now, this is the first time he fails in one of his ideas because he really wanted to go to battle while the Philistines were fighting Bnei Israel. He wanted to fight from within, but it wasn't meant to be because his job was to go home, and God knew that he needed to go home and take care of business on the home front. And that's where we're going to end for today, before we start talking about what he finds when he goes home. Someone had a question or a comment.
I just want to say that I could see why the Philistines would not want him, because when you don't trust somebody, just because somebody says it's so, somebody else says it's okay, that doesn't make you trust that person.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So it's I would have been surprised if they wanted him. I would
Right.
say why
Right.
aren't and that's I
But
think
I
it's
would
just human
say,
nature.
but I would say that it was such a good ruse because his own people, his own king rejected him, threw him away, and he had to go to Achish for
Right.
refuge. So sometimes he's, like a turncoat
Right.
because you've been rejected.
Right.
Like we ourselves, we have Jews that we cannot understand fighting for Hamas, verbally, they're,
Right.
our own people. We can't believe it. So,
Right. Right.
human nature is human nature. So it's very like today, you know.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
So true.
So, yeah. Any other comments or do you see the development of David? Do you see
Yeah.
this man growing from a shepherd boy to a real hero and a real potential king who will come to the throne with massive experience in life? I mean, he is really going to come with a strong resume and a strong background because uh, he has really thought out so many of the different ways to avoid Shaul, to get people's trust, to get his own men to trust him. Along the way, he has married a couple of women, and he really is feeling his oats and growing in the potential of becoming king. And we are witnessing the only character in Tanakh that is so well developed from boyhood to King of Israel. We are witnessing in Shmuel the transformation from a boy who has a very poor relationship with his family and his father, to becoming selected by God to become the next king, to being protected by the prophet of the day, Shmuel, to finally coming into his own and fighting for what he will eventually take on as his own country. It's an amazing bit of information that we are given as to the personality of David HaMelech. And clearly, yes, Linda.
Yes, I have a question. Does everybody who actually knows that David is going to be the king? Is it a secret at this point, or does everybody know?
Well,
Like Philistines and everybody else, and the Jews
no, the
also.
Philistines don't know this. The Philistines
Right.
have no idea. The people
So
that,
they didn't trust him just because he was a Jew.
right, that, and
Right.
they know that he was the general for Shaul.
For the army, right?
Right. They
Okay.
heard when David went out to battle for Shaul, they heard about all those battles. They were part of some of those battles. So they knew exactly who David was on the battlefield. They knew he was amazing.
But did they know that Shmuel had anointed him?
No.
No, nobody
No.
knew. That's
The, the
okay. I
only
was just
person that comes to know this is Yonatan,
Jonathan.
Shaul's son.
And he dies.
He's going to die with his brothers,
Okay.
and Shaul figures it out.
Oh, he does.
Yes, he does. And that's
Oh.
why he wants to kill him, because he wants his sons to be king.
Oh, okay. I forgot a lot of stuff. I have to tell you. All right. No, I just want. Thank you.
Yeah. Not only does that, but his wife Abigail, remember he marries this woman Abigail, who was married to Naval a few chapters ago, and David was going to come and fight Naval because he didn't pay his David's men for working for him. And Abigail says, take a deep breath, calm down. You're going to be king, and this is not the behavior of a king. She was a prophetess, and she had Ruach HaKodesh, and she knew he was going to be king. And he marries her when Naval dies. So she knew that he was going to be king. I'm sure there were other signs, but basically, he is not being proclaimed as king or the future king. Any other comments? Now, all this plan, it was in the hands of God. All this return to Ziklag, all the Lord saying, go home, you'll be safe. It's all under God's control, because God was really manipulating the players. God understood what David wanted to do, but God was not ready for David to fight the Philistine in this battle. This was Shaul's battle. This is going to be Shaul's battle. It's not going to be David's battle. And David can't protect Shaul. because it's ordained that Shaul and his sons are going to die. And Shaul, being the loyal army general, would certainly have changed the course of history by protecting Shaul. And that's my feelings about how David saw it, that he was going to go and protect his king, because he has never done anything against Shaul. Okay. We good? We're okay? All right, so let's stop recording.